Hey folks, Tivik here and welcome to episode 3 of the Applied Energistics mod spotlight and tutorial. In this episode we're gonna take a look at some new cool items that you can make with this mod and that can assist you in your daily life in your base. But first we need to learn two new blocks: the energy cell, well, items, and the Fluix pearl. The energy cell is a fairly simple recipe with Fluix crystals, iron ingots, and glass. This cell does not do anything on its own. You cannot place it, but it can be used in several items. We'll get to those soon. And the Fluix pearl, similar to the energy cell, has no use on its own, but can be put into other items to make things happen. Well, they're part of crafting for them. So Fluix dust, Fluix crystals, and ender pearl. We're gonna need some of these. So the first item that we are going to look at is the power relay. We're going to need one of these. It's an iron ingot, some ME cables, and an energy cell. Not too complicated. I'm just gonna move these out of the way and remove this. So let's just delete those. We're not gonna need them for now. The power relay, when placed anywhere near your system, as long as it hooks up, it will spread power. So if you have another network, again, this is something we'll do in a later episode. If you have another network, this one can connect up to that and spread the power from this one onto the next network. So why do we want one of these? Well, we want it because we need to charge a certain item. This item is a wireless access terminal. But there are a few steps before we get there. We need an access point first, and this is kind of important. We are going to need this one, which is crafted with an ME cable, some iron, glass, and a wireless receiver. Now this one is an item that uses that Fluix pearl. Iron ingot and a stick makes a wireless receiver, which is then in turn used in the access point. So let's connect this access point to the network. It is connected. Cool, huh? Now we are going to need to craft the wireless access terminal, which is crafted using an ME access terminal, which is this normal one with the conversion matrix, but it also requires an energy cell and a wireless receiver. So let's pick that one up. Now, this one has not got a terminal linked. So let's put it in here. I think it's shift click, no? Or is it here? No? Here it is. I'm blind. There we go. It's linked up, but it has no signal. It has no signal, probably because it's out of battery. So let's charge it up. And now you can see it's starting to charge up fairly slowly at first. And 200k takes forever. This is the same kind of energy that you have in your ME system. So right now we are using 273,000 units per tick. Wow. That could grind any system to a halt, I think. I'm not sure that this is correct. It might be a bug. But now, when I have this in my hand... Why is that no signal? Oh, maybe I need to put that one there. There we go. Now it has a signal. This one didn't recognize the network since it's a power relay, so it thought it was another kind of network. Now, I can take items out, and I can put items back in. Do remember, it uses energy, so if I start taking out a lot of items, we're down to 194 now, and eventually we'll run out of energy completely. See, it does drain fairly quickly. Oh, should put it in the power relay. It's still using a lot. Right, so this one has a fairly good reach. But if you get too far away, you get no signal. The distance, I think it's 32 blocks by default. There we go. 32 blocks, but this can be extended. Right. To extend it, you are going to need these wireless boosters. Each one of these adds 1 to the range. So let's get 64 of them and plop as many as we can in there. See? It added 16. And I think it is actually not 1 per item. It's not entirely sure how many points. Oh, it adds 2. Oh, that's not the one I want to... Hey, stop that. There we go. Got stuck in the quicksand. Right, so now we can access it over here. Nope. But here we can. And here we can. Still here. And here. But now we're out of signal. That's kind of sad. But... ouch. I need to put in some cooling systems in this one. But this can be useful when you're in base, and 64 blocks isn't that bad. And do remember, if you have a good network that leads to a lot of places, you can actually put in another wireless access point that gives you a little bit more range. So that's very useful for base management. Now let's say that you've been playing the game for a while and you've been collecting materials and your ME system is full of stuff. And your cells are full of stuff as well. Now let's say that you do want to move a specific item out of the system, or just make sure that this particular 4K storage cell, which can hold quite a lot, only holds, say, cobblestone. You can do this. So let's take that one out. To decide what can be in this one, we are going to need a partition editor. You need a conversion matrix, some glass, a crafting table, and some iron. So let's get that one. This does not need to be hooked up to the power system. It can be put anywhere. If you put this one in, you can put items in here. You can format it to whatever you set here. You can give it a name. So let's pick up some cobblestone. We just need one item because this is a normal ghost item thing. You only need to put one of them here, and we'll type cobblestone and we'll click format. If you look at this one now, it's partitioned precise. It doesn't actually say anything, but if I put this in, it will show that it is for cobblestone. And it's smart, you can copy. So if I have another storage cell here, I can put that one in and copy it by just having had this one in one time. You can, of course, tell it to keep cobblestone and dirt. Cobblestone and dirt. And it will have that. It can use different modes, precision or fuzzy. Fuzzy meaning the same as the buzzes that we used. So for instance, if you have a couple of different types of saplings, it should be all of them in one if you just put one of them in here. But let's do this one. Now I've told this one to have only cobblestone. So if I take out one cobblestone stack and put it back in, it still says 0. Why? Well, that's because the priority goes like this. It will look for the highest priority drive at first and look for the first empty cell or one that is partitioned for this stuff. If it finds an open cell, if it isn't stored in the system already, it will put it in this cobblestone one. If there is cobblestone in the system already, it will put it in the cell that has cobblestone. Unless this one actually has cobblestone, during which it will be prioritized. But there is a good way to move your items quickly and easily, and that is called an I/O port. The I/O port is crafted with 2 ME drives, a basic processor, some glass, a cable. And this needs to be hooked up to the system because it needs to see what's in the system. So I'm going to destroy that cable and put the port in there. If I now take a look at this interface, it looks pretty daunting at first, but believe me, it isn't. You have cell input on the left side and cell output on the right side. You have a button to decide the transfer direction. Should it move items from the cell to the network or from the network to the storage cell? You can also choose operation mode. Should it move the cell to the output when it is empty, when it's completed with the work, or when it's full? This is for automation. So let's put it that work is done. And of course you have the standard active without signal, active with signal, and always active in case you need to control this. Now let's take our pre-formatted one. Oh, do note that there's an orange little lamp on this one, which means that it cannot take new types. But if I put this one in there and tell it to transfer from the network, oh, I need to do that before. This one should start transferring stone from the network. There is no cobblestone, and all the cobblestone is in this one. Now this one can take 4096, which is about, let me see, I'll take a quick look at the math for that one. In a 4K storage, I can store 508 stacks. So that's 32,512 cobblestone. That's kind of a lot. And believe me, that is a lot. You probably want to use this for the most common types and then use this kind of level emitter with a condenser to get rid of the items when it goes over the limit, because you don't need that much cobblestone, or do you? I don't know, maybe you do, but remember that the more you store, the more energy you will use. Right, so of course you can also take this and click to move items into the system. Now we have an empty cell and it moved it into the storage system. So it's pretty flexible. There we go. Perfect. That is one way to store and move items around. It's also kind of important that you remember that these blocks will not defragment themselves automatically. You will have to do that yourself. If I take this one and walk over to the Partition Editor and click and tell it to configure the partition based on what is in it right now, it will use all these items in the partition, and I can tell it to be partitioned like this. Now, if I were to put in an item that is not in this, oh, let's put it back in here. So let's take anything that isn't. I'll just grab some Certus quartz blocks. They did not go into there, but they went into this one, which now contains dirt and Certus quartz. Cool, huh? So that's the I/O port with the Partition Editor. Now, remember in the last episode I showed you how to make matter balls. We don't have a lot of them, but let's, for the sake of things, make one of these. I'm going to grab a 1K storage. No, let's see what we can do with the matter balls. The matter cannon is a very special little thing. It has a storage segment, an energy cell, a conversion matrix. I'll just pick it up because, well, it's easy. This needs a charge of energy, just like the wireless access terminal. And once this has charged up, we're going to take out a single matter ball. And it takes a little bit of time for this to charge up. Now we're going to pre-format this matter cannon into using matter balls only, so we can charge it up. Okay, let's see. If I put this one in, and put that, and say format. It's partition to precise. We put this one back, and we go to the I/O port, and we tell transfer to the storage cell. 17 used. And now I can shoot. And it destroys blocks. It's got a pretty good range. Very good range indeed. And this can be used to fight mobs as well. I don't have mobs on, but for the sake of it, let's get ourselves some eggs. Or just spawn. Let's spawn a spider. And we can shoot it. And ammo is depleted. So it uses up a lot of ammo. Let's put a few more matter balls into the system. Just gonna get a lot. You can use anything as ammo, but the damage it does is depending on the kind of ammo. So for, let's see, the best stuff would be lead, because lead is heavy, of course. So if you can get lead nuggets, it will be very powerful. But the lighter the material, the less damage they do. And the matter balls are actually not very good. So let's get a slime. To get some target practice. And it's got a very good range, as you can see. But it doesn't do a lot of damage. It took that long to kill it. Here's a pig. 3, 4, 5 hits to kill a pig. And I did do a lot of damage to the surroundings in the meantime. I suppose this could be used as a way to dig down. Whoa, I think we found some caves. Yeah, so that's the matter cannon. It can be used for fighting, but it cannot dig through everything. It digs through dirt because it's a soft material. It digs through cobblestone, it seems. Right, so let's put this one back and see if we can get charged. No, there is nothing else in it. Right, so that's the matter cannon. Kind of a fun little thing that you can use, don't you think? Now, there are 2 more tools that are added into Applied Energistics. There are advanced electrical tools and are called the Vibration Catalyst and the Entropy Accelerator. Let's start with the Vibration Catalyst. This requires a conversion matrix, an energy cell, iron, and a lava bucket. Not too bad. To save time, I'm gonna get the fully charged one. This will heat up the item to rapidly smelt it. So, dirt was heated into dried dirt. Right? Let's find sand. It's turned into glass. Remember, it uses up energy. If we find cobblestone, nothing happens. But this can be used for a certain few items. Let's try on a tree. And it turns into charcoal. It's a cool way to burn up a few items. Huh? What happens if I do this on water, maybe? Water evaporates. Yep. I suppose that if I put it on copper, I will smelt it, but do remember that this does not magnify the amount that you get. You will just get 1 ingot, and only 1 ingot from each. Right, that's the entropy, the vibration catalyst. The next one is the Entropy Accelerator. This is crafted with an ice block, so you're gonna need a pickaxe with Silk Touch on it. I think. There might be other ways to make ice. Compressing snowballs, for instance. Right, so let's get this one. This little nifty tool, just clean this up real quick. This nifty tool ages items. Doesn't do anything to this, but to stone it makes cobblestone. But to water it makes ice. To sand, oh, it doesn't do anything, nor does it do anything with dirt. I'm curious, what does it do with wood? Nothing. So it can be used for a few things. I think lava. Let's get a little bit of lava here. I'll get some. Get 2 lava. If I use this on lava, it turns into obsidian. And I don't think I can use the vibration catalyst to get this out now. I need to use a pickaxe, and as normal it takes forever to break. And break. See? Obsidian. That's one way to get obsidian, or just get through a lava area. So that's the 2 advanced tools that this mod adds. There is another kind of cool little item. It is called a transition plane. This is a block that you place, and it uses a conversion matrix and fluix dust. Now, if I hook this up to the system, I'm also gonna get myself some ME cable here, and we can use this area here. We'll just put some cable down, and we put this one there. Has this cool little effect. I'm not sure if it's visible. Now, if I throw something at that, it goes poof. And went into the system. So if I do the same with the ME cabling here, we now have ME cables in our system. Cool, huh? This one is also very neat, because if you place down a block in front of it, it gets immediately broken and sucked into the system. As fast as you can place it, actually. So I'm thinking this could be a cool one to use, but you do need to find a way to move the energy around, of course. So, the cobblestone is back into the system. That is a neat little item, and I can imagine some people doing some nifty builds with that. I haven't really done a lot of testing with that, but it's definitely a cool thing, especially if you have items that fall on the ground and get dropped there. So that's the transition plane. And finally, we have the dark cable. The ME dark cable is crafted using redstone, cables, and a lever. This is used to separate your network into parts. Let me get a switch here. If I put this like so, and let's say we have a drive over here, and we take this cobblestone drive there. This cable now is only active when the redstone is on. So if I switch it off, this one is unpowered, it has no power, and there is no cobblestone reported in the network. Now, there is cobblestone in the network. This is particularly useful if you have highly energy draining parts of your system and you see that you're running low. So say you have a huge storage room or a server room with drives all over the place. Let's get a bunch of drives. Might look like something like... oh. Might look something like this. And you have drives like this. This will, when you have a lot of these storage cells in it, drain a lot of power. Let's just make a whole bunch of 64Ks. And put these in. Now they're not storing anything, so they're not going to be using that much. And I'm only going to be using this one side, so let's break these. We're going to need a few more. So let's get more storage cells. I don't have items in it, as I said, because that will be too much of a job to set up for this short demonstration. And 8 more. There we go. This is all full of these items now. I switch this off now and hook up this. Now let's take a look here. We are using 26 units of energy. Let's take this one out, break this, and put this one back in just for comparison. 27, okay? Now I switched on this, and this lights up like a nice little server room, but look at the drain. 159 units. That's, I think it's about... that's 31 megajoules per tick. So this might not be needed all the time. You might only be storing items in here that you need when you're in the base. So you can switch it off and go on an excursion, and you have the buffer system store rest of your stuff. That is down to a low 27 units per tick again. So that's one use for the dark cable. Of course, if you have a backup system for power, this can also be used to switch off parts of the system just to make sure that the main system with maybe these storage cells can recover, so you don't actually have problem with accessing your data. And I'm thinking that if this system controls, say, the feeding of coolant cells to a nuclear reactor, you will want to be able to turn off the power-hungry parts in case you need to emergency cool the reactor. So that's the end of this part of the Spotlight. We are going to take a look at crafting next. And crafting, I tell you, is a very, very big subject. We're probably going to spend a couple of episodes on that. I'm not sure. We'll see. So I will see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.